So, back to some more Pokemon that work well in this deck. You can use the Zoroark with Foul Play to use your opponent's heavy hitters as your heavy hitters. And if you want, you can use this Scrafty. If you can find some way to drop a damage counter, or if you use a catcher to pull up a Pokemon that has less HP than 90, use Hammer Kick. If you use a Dark Claw as well, the attack does 100 damage, as long as the Pokemon has less HP remaining than Scrafty. Now, I think that's kind of the Pokemon that you can use in this deck. So we're going to look at the trainers and supporters. Sharon is always a good card. This deck runs 2 Sharon, and I think an extra one is a good option. Super Rod is a good card, and because you have so many energy retrieval and cards that get energy back from the discard pile, it's always a good way to get Pokemon back into your deck. Pokeball, in my opinion, is not really the greatest option. You can flip a coin, and if it's heads, you can search your deck for a Pokemon. With the power of Gothita's Foresight, I don't think you really need this card. Crushing Hammer you can use if you want to run defensive tech. If you want to run text that disrupts the opponent. Don't really run it in your normal deck because you have so many status conditions already and ways to discard energy. Pokemon Center is really your decision. You can heal once during each player's turn. They may heal 20 damage from one of his or her benched Pokemon. This will work if your opponent has no benched Pokemon, or their benched Pokemon have no damage counters on them. However, they can also use the effects of Pokemon Center, so be wary. You don't need to use any more energy search. Great Ball, it's basically a little bit better than Gothita's Future Sight. However, I don't really recommend it. Pokedex is Gothita's Future Sight. But see, when you can use Gothita's Future Sight already, I don't think that drawing into a Pokedex is much help at all. In my opinion, the 2 cards that you really should play in this deck are Super Rod and Sharon. Just increase your Sharon line and use Super Rod and you're all good. So, I think the cards that I might run are the Espeon with Solar Revelation, the Lilligant with Bemusing Aroma, the Whismur with Shout, and the Volcarona. No. So, that's 7 cards. So, you have another 6. Sharon and Super Rod are no-brainers. And then you have spare cards. What can you do with the leftover 3? Well, as I was saying before, Murkrow, no Honchkrow. If you can find theme decks. They're used for getting players into the game, but really, in competitive play, they're terrible. And today, I'm going to show you how to improve your Dragon Snarl theme deck. So, the first step is to play with your theme deck a couple of times. I played about 5 games with my brother. It lets you have an understanding of how the deck works, and that there are some cards that you just shouldn't take out. The box comes with a handy list to let you know what's not in there, but sometimes the things that aren't in there means that you have to take out some particular cards. First off is Murkrow. Take out them both. There's no Honchkrow, and Murkrow doesn't really hit that heavy anyway. It can prevent really bad starts, but in my opinion, it's not really that great, and there's just no room for it. it hogs up a spot on your bench. Take out both the Slackoth and both the Vigoroth. I never really used them that much. There's no slacking, and slacking isn't really that great a card either. One Houndour. I don't use Houndour that much. This is optional if you do like Houndour a lot, but I don't like it very much. I recommend taking out one Dino, because otherwise you might have one hogging up a spot on your bench. Just run a 3-3-2 line instead of the 4-3-2 line that the theme deck gives you. It's a bit easier. This is optional. One Gothita. I don't recommend it though. Its ability Future Sight lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them back on the top of your deck in any order. This means that you're setting yourself up for an excellent top deck next turn. Take out one Psychic Energy to level the Psychic and Dark levels. Then take out another Psychic Energy and a Darkness Energy, because most competitive decks only run 15 energy or less. The trainers and supporters are well set, though take out an Energy Search. With Gothita and Silent and the high energy count that the deck runs anyway, you won't really end up needing it. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards out. However, if you take Gothita, you'll have 13. You can also take out Energy Retrieval if you want. I'm not really sure about this one. I leave it in just in case I'm having an energy drought and I've evolved all my Gothita or can't draw into another one. But if you're going to grab the energy like I did and then try and attach to a Xyvilus, don't. Just use Xyvilus as attack drawing. You get to attach 2 Darkness energy cards from your discard pile to Xyvilus, which works much better. So now let's get to the cards that you can put in this deck. Since this deck comes with Dragon types, Psychic types, Dark types, and all decks come with Colorless, those are the types that work best with this particular deck. However, there is one card that changes this. Blend Energy. This card can provide Psychic, Fire, Darkness, or Grass. And since we already have Psychic and Darkness in the deck, we can use it for Grass and Fire type Pokemon that attack only needing one of that type of energy. So let's tackle the Fire types first. I think there are 2 options that could work rather well. The first option is Simisear from Emerging Powers. Simisear from Emerging Powers has the attack Flamethrower, and you have to discard an energy attached to Simisear, which is okay. I think it would work better in water decks though, because water's power. If this Pokemon has any water energy attached to it, the defending Pokemon is now asleep. You can use Simisear, but I don't recommend it. The other card and this one is that one that I highly recommend, is Volcarona. This is the Volcarona from Noble Victories. Its move, Fiery Dance, lets you attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and does 30 damage to boot. All you need to do is attach a Blend Energy to Volcarona, and then you can attach more energy to some of your heavier attackers, like Gothitelle, and Hydreigon. I think Volcarona's a really good card to work with in this deck. You can also use Grass-type Pokemon, which is the other type of energy that this one gives, that this particular card gives. There's a few Grass types that I think will work, and here they are. I recommend Levani because of its ability Leaf Tailor, which means that each of your Pokemon that has any energy attached to it has no weakness. It's good because this deck is particularly energy heavy, as all theme decks are. It means that Levani is an excellent card to have in. Now, there are two other options. You can either use the Noble Victories Lilligant or the Emerging Powers Lilligant. I recommend using the Noble Victories Petalil though, because it has more HP than the plain black and white Petalil, which only has 50 HP. Plus it can heal itself. Now you have two choices. You can either go with the Noble Victories Lilligant, which lets you heal all damage off one of your benched Pokemon, or you can go with the Emerging Powers Lilligant, which is the one I like the best. Its first attack, Bemusing Aroma, lets you flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed and poisoned. If tails, the defending Pokemon is confused. You basically get a good effect either way. In my opinion, go with the Emerging Powers Lilligant. It's the better option. And that's really all the cards that I have for that. I'm actually really using my cards. I can't really say any particular cards, and this is really all the black and white cards I have. Another option that you can use with this deck as a psychic type is the Team Plasma Crobat. You can use its Night Sight ability to draw one card, or you can use its Ultra Toxic Fang attack to poison the opponent's Pokemon, but put 4, not 1 damage counter on in between turns. If you do decide to use this, I recommend the Plasma Storm Zubat because of its ability Free Flight. If this Pokemon has no energy attached to it, this Pokemon has no retreat cost. That means if someone catches it up and hits it for 30 damage, hoping to knock it out the next turn, you can pull Zubat back. A card that I particularly like is Whismur. Whismur is an interesting tech card that can work well in this deck. You can use its attack Shout. Flip a coin. If heads, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. This could be a vital Pokemon, card, trainer, supporter, anything. Even if it's not very even if they just have a handful of energy, eventually they're going to use all that energy, especially if they have an attack that discards it. Whismur is an interesting tech card that I think should be played in this deck. The next card I want to talk about is Espeon from Dark Explorers. Espeon's ability, Solar Revelation, means that all effects of your opponent's attacks, except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any energy attached to it, is prevented. You can't be put asleep. You can't be poisoned, confused, paralyzed, burned. And it works basically like an Unknown G. Just leave Espeon on your bench and attack with some of the heavier hitting Pokemon. You can also use Umbreon as well. Confuse Ray means that the defending Pokemon is confused.